Coca-Cola spend endless billions on advertising every year, but will never once try to sell you on their products. They sell an idea, happiness, harmony, togetherness.
Welcome back, fellow creators. Today's tutorial is not just a walkthrough. It's an immersive journey into the shadows of history as we meticulously recreate the spine-chilling narrative of the disturbing history of Coca-Cola. In this tutorial, we'll carefully craft every detail, bringing forth the essence of the original narrative while adding our own creative touch. First of all, let me explain you the scene. Our scene opens with the iconic Coca-Cola logo outlined against a mysterious black canvas. As the story kicks off, watch in awe as a vibrant red wavy background begins its ascent from the depths, slowly engulfing the entire screen. And there, right in the heart of the crimson wave, the Coca-Cola logo starts to transform, as if being filled with white. Ahoy creators! Before we embark on this visual voyage, let me unveil the magic behind the scenes. To concoct our mesmerizing Coca-Cola history sequence, we'll need a dynamic duo of CapCut files, one for assets creation and the other for our main scene. Now, pay close attention to our secret ingredient, the wavy animated background. Where did I find this visual gem? A little YouTube expedition using the keywords wavy animation video led me straight to the treasure. I swiftly downloaded this visual elixir and imported it into our CapCut assets file. Now, let's dive into the artistry of crafting our wavy red background. We've secured a brilliant blue wavy animation from our YouTube treasure hunt, and to give it that iconic Coca-Cola red hue, we need the perfect red background. So, head over to your favorite search engine and look up the red background. Make sure it's got a touch of disturbance to it. Once downloaded, import it into our assets file. With both elements in hand, drag the red background onto the timeline and position it behind our wavy animation. Let the transformation begin. Select the wavy animation video, adjust the scale to 115% and venture into the Adjustments tab. Here, fine-tune the colors by setting saturation to -50, brightness to -50, highlights to -50, whites to 50, and blacks to -50. Now, journey to the Video tab and switch the blend property to darken, adding a dash of rotation at -180 degrees. It's time for the animation. Mark your starting point at very beginning with a keyframe for position, setting X to 0 and Y to -771. March forward 50 frames, and at the second keyframe, X remains steadfast, while Y ascends to 1714. The stage is set, let the waves of creativity roll. Take our red backdrop and magnify its essence with a scale soaring to an impressive 227%. Now, let's choreograph a symphony of position keyframes by placing first one at beginning and second one at 50 frames forward. In this dance, set the initial keyframe with X at 0 and Y at -2434. And as we reach the second keyframe, watch in awe as both X and Y gracefully converge to a harmonious 0. As we delve into the nuances, cast a subtle shadow of mystery by delicately lowering the opacity to a mesmerizing 65%. Glide over to the Adjustments tab, where we paint the canvas with a touch of vignette, setting the value to an enchanting 44. Make sure extend the red backdrop up to 12 seconds. The stage is now adorned with a canvas that's both bold and enigmatic, setting the perfect backdrop for our unfolding narrative. Once we are done with it, export it in video format. And now, jump over the main file, import the background which we just created, and place it on the timeline. Now let's bring our leading characters onto the stage, the Coca-Cola logos. Begin your quest by venturing into Google. First, seek the ethereal Coca-Cola outlined logo. A silhouette that speaks volumes, capture it by downloading the one that aligns with our artistic vision. In tandem, embark on a quest for the Coca-Cola logo in all its filled glory. A symbol steeped in white, ready to manifest its presence on our creative canvas. Download this emblem of effervescence. Should you find the path elusive, worry not, for I have bestowed upon you a gift. The link to these sacred assets awaits in the description below. Now let's import this logos inside the CapCut. Now, take the outline of our Coca-Cola emblem, a silhouette poised for revelation. Grace the timeline with its presence, scaling it to 111%, a size that beckons attention. Align its essence at the crossroads of X and Y, both set to 0. Let the alchemy of adjustment transpire. Brightness, a beacon of 50, shall cast its glow. Contrast, standing at a solid 8, shall bring definition to the shadows. Behold the highlights, painted in the grandeur of 50, alongside shadows and whites that dance harmoniously, sharing the stage at 50 each. Now, welcome the solid-filled version of our Coca-Cola emblem into the timeline. Resize it with precision, a scale of 54%, aligned seamlessly with its outlined counterpart. Let the two dance in unison, creating a visual harmony that resonates. The animation, a choreography of transformation, begins its enchantment. Dive into the Mask tab, select Horizontal Mask, and orchestrate a graceful rotation of 180 degrees. Position the first keyframe, a mere 19 frames into the unfolding narrative, with X poised at -36 and Y standing tall at -131. Swiftly fast forward 13 frames, where the second keyframe shall emerge, X pivoting to 36 and Y ascending to the majestic height of 131. Now, let's bring these logo layers into a seamless union. With precision, select both emblem layers, employing the Control key for finesse. As the conductor of this visual symphony, summon the right-click magic and choose the Create Compound Clip option. Alternatively, dance with the keys, pressing Alt+G for an express journey into Unity and attache the clip with Rebound Effect with size 9 and speed to 5. Now, move 66 frames forward from beginning. Head over to Mask tab, select Horizontal Mask, rotate it by 180 degrees. Place first keyframe for position with X to 0 and Y to 201 and move 5 frames forward. Hit second keyframe here with Y to -206. Now, as you can see, our scene differ from the original scene in terms of crossing wave from top and bottom of the logo. To achieve the harmonious convergence of waves, embark on a quest for the perfect white wave PNG on Google. Once found, usher it into the realm of Figma for a transformative journey. In Figma's embrace, gracefully rotate it to a -165 degrees. Duplicate this wave, then perform a magical flip, horizontally this time, creating its symmetrical counterpart. Now, arrange these waves in a dance, ensuring their continuity and cohesion. Duplicate the original once more, shift it left, flip it vertically, and weave it into the seamless tapestry. With meticulous finesse, group these waves with Ctrl+G and prepare to export the synergy and import it into the CapCut. Now, precisely place it at 0.04 seconds and adjust its position by changing Y to 693. After that, navigate to the Mask tab, select Mirror, rotate it by 90 degrees, change the size to 1737 and animate it using position keyframes under the Mask tab. Set the first keyframe at 3 frames forward from the starting of the layer, make X -21 and Y -76. Move 47 frames forward, place another keyframe for position, change X to 21 and Y to 76, also setting the feather value to 100. Next, return to the Video tab. Move to the very beginning of the layer, mark the first keyframe for opacity, and set the value to 0%. 3 frames forward, mark the second keyframe with opacity to 100%. Then, move 47 frames forward from the second keyframe, mark the third keyframe here with opacity value at a steady 100%. For the final touch, advance 3 frames forward, place the fourth keyframe with opacity to 0 and extend it until 3 seconds. Let's bring in the wave once more onto the timeline, precisely at 0.99 seconds, setting its Y position to -774. Now, into the animation part, 10 frames forward from the beginning of the layer, place the first keyframe for opacity with a value of 0%. Move 5 frames forward, position the second keyframe for opacity with a value of 100%. Proceed for 57 frames from here and place the third keyframe for opacity with the value remaining the same. Once again, move for another 5 frames forward and position the fourth keyframe here with opacity set to 0%. Now, navigate to the Mask tab, select Mirror, rotate it to 90 degrees, adjust the size to 1737, same as the first one, and set the feather to 100. Place the first keyframe for position where the second keyframe of opacity is located, changing X to 2112 and Y to 76. Similarly, at the third keyframe of opacity, mark the second keyframe of mask position with X and Y both set to -21.2 and -76. To keep the timeline neat and clean, let's make the both waves compound clip. Now, let's delve into the transition phase. For this, we need a lineup of money notes arranged in a semicircular format. After an extensive search, I stumbled upon a $100 note that closely matched my vision. After downloading and importing it into CapCut, let's fine-tune its appearance using adjustments. Set the saturation to -50, brightness to -18, contrast to -28, highlight to 25, and shadow to -37. Tweak the whitest to -11, and there you have it, the perfect $100 note. Now, it's time to artfully arrange these notes in a semicircular manner. Scale them down to 43%, positioning the first note by setting X to -1145 and Y to -1298, and rotating it by 48 degrees. Copy and paste it, changing the X to -431 and Y to -895, and rotate it to 83 degrees, placing it behind the first note. Repeat this process, creating a symphony of notes. Copy the second note once more, adjusting X and Y to 366 and -998, and setting rotation to 111 degrees. Copy it again, this time changing X to 1162 and Y to -1422, rotating it to 128 degrees. Select all 4 note layers and create a compound clip for perfect scene. Now that we've crafted our assets, let's seamlessly integrate them into the scene. Drag the compound clip to precisely 2.06 seconds and compress the clip 6.24 seconds. Navigate to the Animation tab, and in the In section, opt for the Slide Up animation, maintaining the default duration of 0.5 seconds. Transition to the Out section and select the Slide Down animation. Advance 50 frames forward from the start, placing the first keyframe for position with both X and Y set to 0. Move 21 frames forward and mark the second keyframe here, with X remaining unchanged and Y set to -382 for a smooth exit. Duplicate the compound clip and rotate it by 180 degrees. Adjust the In animation to slide down and the Out animation to slide up. At the first keyframe, set both X and Y to 0. Move to the second keyframe and modify Y to 77 for a dynamic visual twist. To enhance our scene further, we need the text that appears once the logo disappears. Let's transition to Canva to create this text. Start a new video project, set the canvas color to black, add the text, paste the sentence, change the font family to Inter, set the text style to light. Emphasize the word billion by making it bold. Adjust the font size to 78 and download it as a JPG. Import this into CapCut, position it at 2.06 seconds, change the blend property to screen, scale it to 55% and maintain default coordinates. Make a cut for the layer at precisely at 5 seconds. Now, heading to the Mask tab, select Horizontal Mask. For the first keyframe, position it at the layer's initial point with X and Y both set to 0. Walk forward 13 frames and place the second keyframe with Y set to -102. Returning to the Video tab, travel 37 frames forward, placing the first keyframe for position with X and Y both at 0. Move another 21 frames and this time set Y to 70. For further editing, we will require this animated text to create that switch to the Assets file of CapCut, where we're about to infuse magic into animated text. Starting with a default text, we seamlessly transform it into a dynamic every year statement. A splash of vibrant green, the elegant Rosa 1, font taking center stage, and careful scaling to an impressive 280%. A symphony of design elements converging. We don't stop there. Adding finesse, a bold white stroke of thickness 9 and a backdrop in deep black create a striking contrast. With dimensions set at 100% height and 15% width, maintaining the X and Y offsets, we export this textual wonder as a captivating still frame and hide the text layer using V key on keyboard. As it takes its place in the timeline, now move Cutout and select Chroma key, choose color to green and set strength to 50. A brief moment of invisibility adds a touch of intrigue. But here's where the narrative unfolds. the wave animation, a familiar companion, re-enters the stage. Positioned behind our text, stripped of its keyframes and set to 0 on the x-axis and -162 on the y-axis, it seamlessly merges into the composition. The blend mode shifts to normal, and this harmonious blend is exported into a captivating video format. The tale continues with product, a repetition of our creative alchemy, crafting another visual gem. Every year and product now stand ready in our main CapCut file, poised to unravel the next chapter of our visual story. Let's now introduce the Animated Every Year word, positioning it precisely at 4.07 seconds for a seamless transition. Adjust its scale to 82%, shifting its placement to a subtle -Y position of -195. To enhance its visibility, opt for the Brighten Blend property. Now, in the Animation tab, apply a fade-in effect with a quick 0.1 second duration for a smooth appearance. For that extra flair, let's add the Rebound Swing effect from the Trending tab. Modify its size to 5 and speed to 2 to achieve the perfect dynamic touch. Now for the next sentence, let's head back to Canva. Double-click on the previous text we created and replace it with the new sentence. Now, emphasize the words never and sell by making them bold. To animate, select the Shift Animation effect. Once done, download it and import it into video format. And place it at exactly 5 seconds on the timeline, scale it to 72% and change Y to 123, and also change the blend property to screen. Now we'll need the Coca-Cola bottle, which I downloaded PNG Wing by searching Coca-Cola glass bottler. Drag it into the timeline. And to match the essence of the MagnatesMedia scene, let's adjust its properties. Set the saturation to -50, brightness to -33, contrast to 50, highlights to -50, and whites to -19. It's time to place the bottles in sequence, starting with the smallest bottle in the left corner. Scale it to 100% and position it at X, -1627, and Y, -1478. Copy and paste the layer in the same position, changing only the X to 1627. Repeat this process for the next bottle, scaling it to 108% and positioning it at X, -771, and Y, -1429. Copy and paste again, changing the X to 793. Now, create a compound clip of all 4 bottles and move it exactly to 6.24 seconds, extending it till 11.20 seconds. In the Animation tab, under the In section, select the Slide Up animation with a duration of 0.6 seconds. Duplicate this compound clip, rotate it by 180 degrees, and apply the Slide Down animation instead of Slide Up, changing the duration to 0.4 seconds. Once again, bring the bottle into the timeline and adjust its properties as we did before. Scale it to 150% and change the Y position to -674. Now, assign the Slide Up animation for entry with a duration of 0.5 seconds. Give it a rebound effect with a strength of 2 while keeping the size and speed at their default values and extend it till the end of the audio. Now, drag the product word onto the timeline at exactly 7.04 seconds and cut the Every Year layer at that point and align it with the end of the audio. Change the blend property to brighten, adjust the Y position to -200 and scale it down to 72%. It's transition time. For this part, we need the black ripped page as a background and a bulb in white color. You can download both from the attached assets link. Drag the ripped paper onto the timeline at 7.19 seconds, scale it to 147%, and position it by changing the Y value to -100, and change the blacks and illumination both to -50. Now, mark the first keyframe for opacity 7 frames forward from the start of the layer and decrease the opacity to 0%. Just 1 frame forward, place the second keyframe with opacity set to 100%. Now, in the same position, head over to the Mask tab, select Mirror Mask, and mark the first keyframe for size with a value of 1. From here, journey 20 frames ahead, mark the second keyframe for size, and change the size to 10:28. Now extend it till the end of the scene. Make a cut at 8.20 seconds. grab the light bulb and position it above the ripped page, matching its length. Next, head to the Filter tab under the Style menu and choose the negative filter. This filter transforms the light color into white. Then, move to the Adjustment tab and change blacks to -50, 7 frames forward from the start. Place the first keyframe for opacity at 0%, and then, after a step, place the second keyframe at 100% opacity. Additionally, place the first keyframe for the size of the mirror mask with a value of 1. Then, journey 5 frames forward and place the second keyframe for size with a value of 64. Finally, move ahead another 15 frames, setting the size to 840. Drag the bulb again into the timeline at 8.20 seconds. Scale it to 54% and extend it till the end. Position it with X at -1011 and Y at 0, and set the rotation to 6 degrees. Copy this layer and paste it 4 frames forward. Scale it to 51% and position it with X at -1971, Y at -111, and rotation at 0. Repeat the same process for the right side. Copy and paste the bulb, scale it to 56%, set X to 1020, Y to -111, and rotation to 0. For the last bulb, scale it to 50%, set X to 1920, Y to -103, and maintain a 4-frame difference between the start points of the layers. Apply the entry animation to all the bulbs with a fade-in animation and a duration of 0.1 seconds. We've reached the climax, and now we just need to add that final touch with the words happiness, harmony, and togetherness, which will appear one after the other, syncing with the audio. To create these words, go to the timeline at 9.13 seconds and add the first word, happiness. Change the font family to ZI Earnest, adjust the font size to 26, and set the color to red. Repeat the same process for the other 2 words and sync them with the audio. And there you have it, folks. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you, my cherished viewers, for being part of my journey. Your support means the world to me, and I look forward to bringing you more engaging content in the future. Until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and stay tuned for more adventures ahead. Thank you for watching.